Part 2 of season 1 is here. Welcome back to Writing with Authors. I'm your host and 3-time published author, Vincent A. Lanci.
Hey, I'm Kaywanda Lamb, and I'm excited to be here.
To start out part 2 of season 1, I am bringing on a name and face you may recognize from my podcast series, That Entrepreneur Show. She is known as the winning single mom, and she also has a Spanish course for small businesses. But for this platform, we are going to discuss her 3 books. I personally have read one of her books, meant to help you create your first ebook. So there is a lot of value here. Stay tuned for a good one, and allow me to now introduce Kaywanda Lamb. Kaywanda, thank you so much for joining me.
For having me, Vince. Hey, y'all. This is so fun. Okay, so I have 3 self-published paperbacks, and then I have the ebooks. So thank you for sharing about Write Your First Book in a Weekend.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it. I'm looking forward to learning more what went behind those books. But to start out, would you mind giving a quick intro to our audience and letting the world know who's on the show today?
Hey, y'all. So my name is Kaywanda Lamb. I'm affectionately called the winning single mom. And my whole mission is to help single mothers around the world thrive. So that's to make more money, manage motherhood, and win at life. And so I've been an author since 2015. I've written 2 amazing books for single mothers. Looks like this. Boom, boom, boom. This is your Get Your Life Together guide called Do It Anyway. And this is a devotional for single mothers because I would not have made it through my journey without my faith. And my 3rd self-published book is actually a planner. This is called the Single Mom Success Planner. So 3 self-published books all on my own, written with blood, sweat, tears, and love to help my community. And then also I've written a lot of ebooks. And the one that's my bestseller is called Write Your First Book in a Weekend. So book or ebook. And Vince, I'm excited to be here just to talk about the writing process and the ins and outs of it. And so I'm all ears. How can I help your audience?
Well, let's start by discussing your latest book. You just showed us what it looks like. Let's talk about everything from what went into it to what it's about.
So the last self-published project is the Single Mom Success Planner. And it took me, I would say, about 6 months to kind of get the vision in my head of what I wanted the planner to look like on the inside, and then to narrow down what I wanted in it. So, we all are like, oh, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And I think each book really is a baby because when it's time to give birth. I know, Vince, I know you're a guy, so you can't really relate all the way to this, but I'm a mom of 2 boys. And, that expectancy of meeting your new baby, right? But you got to go through those, the first month, the second month, all the way up to the 9th month, right, of carrying this baby. And you're just to this point of, okay, come on out already, right? That's kind of how we are with our books. I've met people, literally, there's a lady who bought my ebook, and she was like, I've been writing a book for 15 years. I was like, 15 years? Ma'am, listen, let's get this thing done. Why? But I remember my first book, Do It Anyway, took me 1.5 years because we labor through it, right? And so I'm able to write books quicker, faster, because I have a process. But what went into it was really deciding who was this book for, right? We need to know who our audience is. Why would they want this book from us? So our credibility, our experience, our expertise, right? Our know-how. And then everybody wants to know what's in it for me. So your reader is reading, whether it's, fiction for enjoyment, nonfiction to improve their lives. They're reading because they want to know what's in it for me. So I had to think about all those things. And at the end of the day, I wanted to create something that was functional, that was practical, but that really helped single mothers move the needle in their lives, right? So that's, for me, that's what went into it. And that's kind of the process I take with every book. It's like a labor of love, but now I just labor quicker. I can push those bad boys out in no time. I wrote my ebook in a weekend, 3 hours one day, 3 hours another day. And everybody that touches it is just like, you gave us this much content for what?
My first book, I think I wrote over the course of a few years, and I could never let it go. And then eventually I learned that no matter what, I could change the way a sentence sounds or a word sounds. So I had to eventually give up my baby. But Let's look back now. What led you to becoming a published author at first? Now, since I know you, I've seen that the following for the single mom brand that you have, how big it's gotten. Let's backtrack a little bit. What was behind the first book?
Behind the first book, I started a blog, and it was called the Do It Anyway blog, which is why everything, I'm always hashtagging it, Do It Anyway. And moms who've been following me for, the past 8 years, but like you said, like with your baby, your first book, like it is a labor of love. You had to push yours out. And unfortunately, people wait sometimes decades to write their first book, because you know what? It's really about fear, right? We're afraid, like, what if people won't like it? What if no one buys it? And so there's a lot that goes into us putting our first baby, our second baby, our third baby out into the world. But, I tell people, first think about who your audience is. What do they want? Why do they want it from you? Everybody wants to know what's in it for me. And so I knew that I wanted to write to single mothers, because I was just, everywhere I went, people were asking me, "Oh, your boys are so well behaved. Are you married?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a single mom." "You're a single mom," And so it just kept happening, and I was like, "Okay, is God trying to tell me something?" And so I woke up one day in 2013, and in my spirit, just out of nowhere, I never wanted to write a blog. Something said, "Start a blog." You know what I did? Boom, opened up my computer, went to the internet to figure out, how to start a blog, WordPress. And that day, the Do It Anyway blog was born. And I used to call it Single Parenting is Hard .wordpress.com, and then I immediately later changed it to Do It Anyway, the Do It Anyway blog. And I love what I do. I love empowering women. I love showing people that you can, chase your dreams. You can be an author, you can be a coach, you can be a speaker, and you can raise great babies. You can do what you want to do. But to get that book out of you is a process. And so what you have to do is quiet that mind stuff, right? Quiet that mind stuff, that negative stuff, that fear of will people buy it, and get the doggone book done. And so it took me a year and a half. And when I got tired of people asking me, "When is the book going to be ready?" I finally sat down, and you ready for this, Vince? In 3 weeks, I wrote 38,000 words. So the 38,000 words, I told myself, I looked and I said, okay, I want these chapters to be meaty. I knew I wanted to have 12 chapters. I sat down, I thought through like what I wanted to really give women, right? Condense it. If somebody had to give me a manual to single parenting, what would be in it? And so I looked at what was out there on the market. This is something that I teach as well. And I said, okay, this is what's currently out there. I want to make my book be the answer and the solution. I don't know if anybody's listening, but I just gave y'all major T in this whole story. So I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. And so I decided that I wanted 3,000 words a chapter. And so every day after work, I'd come home. My boys were about preteens then. And so in that preteen age, so they were, getting to self-sufficiency. I'd make sure they were fed, take care of the house. And then I would leave home and go to Starbucks and write because I needed that peace and quiet. I needed that focus. I needed to make sure they were good. And every day for 3 weeks, I wrote, and I wouldn't leave unless I had 3,000 words. And then starts the cleanup process, right? And okay, did I give too much? Did I repeat myself? Okay, I'll stop giving the whole shebang on this interview. But if I could tell the folks out there who want to be authors anything, it is, there's a reason why you want to be an author. There's a reason why something is calling you and pulling you. That day in 2013, when something told me, I knew it was God. It was the voice of God saying, "Start the blog." And then all those people kept coming to me. And then when those beautiful moms connected with me, women that I've known since 2013, still in my tribe, I know them, right? I know their families. I've been supporting them and speaking into them. And we've built this community. And so do it, because there's somebody who's waiting on the thing that you have on the inside of you. So that's my story.
That should be incredible inspiration for all of you out there who are aspiring writers. Don't know if you have the time. She told you how she made time because it's something she really wanted. But Kaywanda, over these 3 books that you've created, the 3 babies you let out into the world, What two pieces of advice do you have for everyone listening on here today?
I would just simply say, write the doggone book, write it, get it out of you first,
Mhm.
and clean it up later. Obviously, hire a professional editor. I tell you all these things in my ebook, but write the doggone book, write the doggone book. And then the second piece of advice is share the doggone book. Because what happens is, and this is why I alluded to that, oh, what if people don't buy from me? Well, people can't buy from people that they don't know exist. So I'm sorry to tell you, but the other part that comes to writing the book is promoting the book, right? And so I don't have, any problem telling people about these babies because I know that they are life-changing. I know that I put 100%, 1000% into them. And the Amazon reviews say it all, right? But at the same time, um, those people found me, but how do I get new people to find me? If I want to be in business, because authors are just not in business to write a book for themselves, they're in business to write a book for the world. You have to be willing to tell people about your baby. All right, so write the doggone thing is the first piece of advice. Second piece of advice is tell people about the doggone thing.
She makes a lot of great points there. First is writing the book, then it's getting the book out there, doing shows like this, collaborating with each other, helping spread my guest audience a little wider. Would you now mind please sharing your contact info? How do people find these books?
All right, so thanks so much, Vince, for having me. Again, I'm Kaywanda Lamb, aka the Winning Single Mom. You can find me and my books at kaywandalamb.com and also on Amazon.
Kaywanda, I can't thank you enough for coming on to another platform and making a difference with me by inspiring future writers and current authors. Everyone listening on, we talked about finding time to write throughout our work week. This podcast right now, we are recording on a Saturday because that was the only time we can mesh our schedules together. We are tired, but we love what we do and we love to help others. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all on next week's episode of Writing with Authors.